If August's Social Security surprises caught you off guard, September's changes are going to be even bigger. Most people have no idea what's coming next, and honestly, I almost miss some of these updates myself despite checking SSA announcements daily. This isn't just another routine government change. What we're witnessing is a complete system overhaul happening in real time. The people who understand these shifts will be significantly better positioned than those who don't. So whether you were confused by August's double payment, you're still waiting for money you believe you're owed, or you simply want to stay ahead of benefit changes, the next few minutes could determine whether you receive every dollar you're entitled to or miss out entirely. Here's what's really happening behind the scenes. The Social Security Administration has entered what I can only describe as a massive cleanup phase. We're talking about benefit recalculations, error corrections, years overdue retroactive payments, and system-wide adjustments. While everyone focused on August's changes, September brings its own set of challenges that could catch millions completely off guard. Just last week, someone messaged me in a panic, saying she didn't get her September SSI payment, and asking if something went wrong and whether she should call them. The reality is that she had already received her September payment on August 30th. She just didn't realize what it was. This confusion is happening everywhere right now. The most important thing you need to know about September is this: if you receive SSI, that's supplemental security income, you will not receive a payment this month. This isn't an error, and you already received September's payment on August 30th. Here's how this works. SSI payments are scheduled for the first of each month, but when the first falls on a weekend or federal holiday, SSA moves payment to the last business day before. September 1st this year was Labor Day, so your September SSI payment arrived early on Friday, August 30th. Many people are thinking they got their regular August payment on August 1st and then another one on August 30th, which seemed like extra money. But that second payment wasn't extra money. It was your September payment arriving early. My advice is to mark these early payments in your calendar with notes explaining what they represent. This prevents stress and confusion later. When you see people calling SSA wondering where their payments are, those unexpected checks that had people thinking they won the lottery, you know, the 5,000, 8,000, sometimes even larger amounts that started showing up in accounts over the past few months. While they're still being distributed, these payments stem from something called the WEP and GPO reforms. For decades, unfair rules reduced Social Security benefits for people with government pensions like teachers, nurses, postal workers, and police officers. Congress finally acted to fix this injustice, and now SSA is paying back money people should have been receiving all along. A viewer's mother, a retired Ohio nurse, just received $6,200. Initially convinced it was fraud, she learned this was money she had rightfully earned. If you worked in public service and your Social Security benefits were reduced due to a government pension, this could absolutely apply to you. These aren't random windfalls. This is the government finally paying back owed money. The tricky part is these payments are still being processed. Some people received theirs in June, others in August, and more are still coming. SSA is working through millions of cases, which takes time. SSA is also adjusting benefits for multiple reasons, including cost of living changes, WEP and GPO fixes, and corrections to past errors. The confusing part is that sometimes you receive the money before the explanation. You might see an unexpected amount in your account that doesn't match your usual benefit, whether higher, lower, or a completely separate deposit. Your first instinct might be to think it's a mistake, and I get it, but most of the time it's not a mistake, it's SSA catching up on something. My advice is to check your mail religiously and read every SSA notice, even if it looks boring or confusing. Don't assume anything and don't ignore anything. If you receive unexpected money, the mail notice will usually explain what it's for. If you're still confused after reading the notice, which happens because these letters can be pretty hard to understand, call them and ask questions. You have every right to understand your own benefits. Now I have to share some tougher news, because it's not all good news coming out of SSA right now. Some people are receiving overpayment notices claiming they were paid too much at some point, sometimes years ago, and demanding repayment. These letters are real and official, and you cannot ignore them. but they don't automatically mean you owe the claimed amount. Let me tell you about a situation that really got to me. A 72-year-old woman contacted me a few weeks ago in tears because SSA sent her a letter demanding $14,000. They claimed she'd been overpaid over several years due to a paperwork error she had nothing to do with. She was convinced her benefits would be cut off, maybe permanently, and didn't know what to do. Here's what we helped her understand. You can fight these by filing what's called a waiver request asking them to forgive the debt. You can appeal their decision. You can set up a payment plan if you do something, but the key is responding quickly and not trying to handle it alone. In her case, we helped her apply for a waiver and she was approved. She didn't owe that money after all. The number one cause of payment delays, returns, or misdirected funds is outdated information with SSA. I cannot tell you how many people I've talked to who had problems because their mailing address or bank information was outdated. Here's the thing about SSA. They're not going to hunt you down if your information changes. If you move, switch banks, or your phone number changes, you have to tell them, otherwise, your money could end up in limbo. And here's a pro tip that I've tested myself. If you need to call Social Security, call them right at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. I promise you the wait times are so much shorter. I've called at 8:05 and gotten through in under 10 minutes. Call at noon and you might wait 2 hours. Timing makes all the difference. Let me go back to the double SSI payment situation, just because I think this is really important for your budgeting. That second check you got in August, the one that came on August 30th, was your September payment arriving early. It wasn't bonus money, it wasn't a mistake, and it wasn't extra cash to spend however you wanted. I'm not going to tell you how to manage your money because that's not my place, but I will say this. A lot of people treated that early payment like it was extra, and now they're coming up short this month because there's no September SSI payment coming. If you're in that situation, you're not alone and you're not the first person this has happened to. SSA's early payment policy is meant to help people, but it can definitely throw off your budgeting if you're not expecting it. The best thing you can do is learn the pattern. SSI comes early when the first falls on a weekend or holiday. Mark those dates in your calendar for next year so you're prepared. So what should you be watching for in the coming months? Fall is traditionally when we start hearing about the next year's cost of living adjustment. That's the law that determines whether Social Security benefits go up and by how much. The official announcement usually comes in October, but we're already seeing some early predictions. I won't speculate on the exact numbers, but it's worth paying attention to because it affects every Social Security recipient. We're also likely to see more of these retroactive payments from the WEP and GPO changes. SSA has said they're working through millions of cases, and that doesn't happen overnight. And honestly, I think we're going to see more changes to overpayment policies. There's been so much pushback from people getting it with these large demands for repayment that Congress is paying attention. Here's what I find fascinating. We're watching the Social Security system change in real time, and by staying informed, by watching videos like this, by actually understanding what's happening, you're putting yourself ahead of the curve. Most people find out about these changes months later, usually when something affects them personally, but you're here now learning about it as it happens. That's huge. Look, I get it. This stuff is confusing. Government agencies, acronyms, payment schedules that change based on holidays. It's a lot. But here's what I want you to remember. The money is real, the changes are real, and understanding them can make a real difference in your financial security. Don't wait to find out about these changes from a neighbor or from a surprise check showing up in your account or from a confusing letter in the mail. Be proactive. Log into your My Social Security account, check your payment history, read the notices they send you, and when in doubt, ask questions. If this video helped you understand what's happening with Social Security right now, do me a favor and subscribe. I promise to keep breaking down these changes in plain English before they hit the mainstream news. And share this with someone who might need it, maybe a parent or grandparent or someone you know who receives SSI or SSDI. These changes affect millions of people, and the more people who understand what's happening, the better. Finally, drop a comment and let me know. Have you received anything unexpected from Social Security recently? A strange payment amount, an early payment, a confusing letter? Share your experience. It might help someone else who's going through the same thing. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next update.